4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we ready right now. It's about time. I know it's about time. It's about time.
What's up, everybody? This is Command Time Podcast presented by Network. This is a little bit of a Friday edition podcast. So we're just go ahead and get started with this episode tonight. Caleb, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Week 2 this season. I guess we can discuss a little bit of week 1, just a little
We have
bit.
to talk about week one, right? I mean, like it's the
Yeah.
NFL season. This is a Commanders affiliated show, so we definitely have to talk about these things. But just letting everybody know, click like and subscribe to the channel. Every week we'll have any guests and up here Commanders and also and tonight obviously we'll have one of our guests chose one of the crew.
Hey, DT, you may want to fix your mic a little bit, brother. It's a little. Your mic's a little finicky. Try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
All right. Where was I? So I was saying, let's go ahead and talk about week one. So obviously the Commanders lost 37-20 against the Buccaneers. Wasn't a good loss. Very bad loss, I should say. Especially with the way you saw how the game kind of was in terms of how close they were at certain points. What are your thoughts about the game, Caleb?
I'll start with some positives. The front four got pressure. Actually, they were second in pressures in week 1. It didn't go in our favor. We should have got at least 5 sacks, at least 4 to 5 sacks, and that's part of how you change the outcome of a game or change the momentum of the game. We didn't do that. Granted, Joe Witt Jr., Dan Quinn, even Bobby Wagner said, it's uncharacteristic of us. So they need to bounce back. The O-line wasn't bad, wasn't terrible. It was how I expected it to be. Really, pretty average, and I just need them to be average throughout the year. They don't have to be top 10 or elite. I just need them to be average. Andrew Wiley is terrible, as we all know. Coleman, in the snaps that he played, he actually was pretty good. He was actually pretty good. Luke McCaffrey, he didn't get the ball a lot, but when you look at the All-22, he was getting open. The narrative was, the receivers not getting open. Yeah, the receivers actually. Shout out to my boy breaking tackles, man. Shout out to my boy. Talked to him on the app in the DMs a little bit. But yeah, the receivers. There's a stat on Twitter where Jaden Daniels receivers created at least 4.7 yards of separation. So the receivers got open against the Bucks. Granted, you wanna, add a little caveat into that. The Bucks corners were dropping like flies. So they got down to the end of their depth chart at the corner position. Will it be the same against team starting corners? We don't know yet, but they got open regardless. So that's something positive to look at. Jaden Daniels, he wasn't terrible. He left some plays out there. He left some meat on the bone out there as far as passing plays. He got blitzed a lot, and a few times he made the high read. A few times he didn't. A few times he used his strength, which is his legs, and he got out there. He made some plays. He kept the offense moving. Sometimes when nothing was there, he created something. But looking at the all 22, there's some plays he left out there. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Good for him. He did get down in that game. He didn't take big hits. His helmet flew off. That quarterback draw he ran, he took a little hit there. Uh, I didn't like that play call really. I think we called 2 QB draws or 3. I don't
Cliff
like.
said he didn't like it. Worst play.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't like those QB draws. If the game's on the line, 3rd and goal or 2nd and goal, sure, yeah,
Mhm.
of course, do it. You're down that much, that many. You're down what was it, 37-14? I'm not doing that. I'm not calling that. Um, we talked about this earlier on Twitter. Everybody can agree to disagree. They don't want to nitpick his sliding or his version of sliding, but him tumbling forward, that shit's got to go. He can get hurt like that. You're
Yeah.
tumbling head first, where you can get a concussion. You can mess up your neck, and that can shorten your career. Uh, Again, every week he has to learn how to slide. He just has to. We can ignore this conversation continuously throughout the season, but if God forbid, knock on wood, don't want him to get hurt. But this is going. I don't want to have this discussion later. So, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't terrible. He won Rookie of the Week, which is good for him. Um, Good for him. So I want him to continue to progress week in and week out. And I'm pretty sure he will get better. It's something to look forward to throughout the season. He's going to be playing better defenses than the Bucks. It may not be teams that are going to, blitz him as much as the Bucks did because they were top 3 blitzing last year and they blitzed the most. He got blitzed the most out of I think any quarterback or top 3 or top 5 than any other quarterback this week. He responded pretty good to it. He wasn't terrible against it. Could he have done better? Yes, but he wasn't bad. He looked like he belonged. He did what he had to do. Um, just some points about the game. Negatives. Those are the positive stuff. I didn't even get to the negative stuff. Oh boy, secondary terrible. Missed tackles bad. Andrew Wiley bad. Play calling. I saw some of Deuce's podcast. Shout out to Deuce Red Zone in the Lab. Follow him. Follow his Twitter. Check out his pod. Um, Cliff wasn't terrible in passing. He wasn't terrible in play calls. Wasn't bad. Jaden just needs to go back and look at the film and reevaluate himself and get better. Literally. Could he have called better play calls? Yes. You want him to use more motion? Yes. He didn't use a lot of motion in the game, which we've talked about before the season, about his history of not using a lot of motion. Terry lined up most of the time on the left side, and Terry didn't get a lot of targets. But you go back and look at the film, like I said before, he got open a little bit. He got open. Jaden has to see him better. He has to just see the field better. And that comes with time. He's a rookie. He's going to have these growing pains. He'll get better as the season prolongs. I just want to see him keep getting better and better. Dan Quinn's his time management was bad. Really, it was bad. So we hired somebody to help with that situation. So if this continues further down the line in key situations, it's going to have to be discussed. But other than that, kicker, terrible, bad, trash. So hopefully the new guy we brought in, he's good. We've had 5 different kickers. 5 different kickers is ridiculous. So that's about much as I got into it. I'm really not upset with I'm really not upset that they lost, but I've said before, I just don't want them to get embarrassed every Sunday. And if we lose games, which we're going to lose games this year, I just want to see Mike Sainristil, Ben Sinnott, Luke McCaffrey, Jaden Daniels. Hopefully Johnny Newton plays this week. I just want to see them perform. That's it. Something to build on, especially Jaden. So that's what I got.
Yeah, I definitely see everything. Like everything you said. I'm just gonna keep it short. I was very disappointed with the defense in terms of how the plays were out there to be made, but they wasn't made. Offensive line, offensive line wasn't bad. I mean, per se. I mean, there was a couple of times it gave us some pressures and stuff, but overall, I felt like it was a growing performance from what I saw from last year. And obviously, with Jaden Daniels, he masked some of the deficiencies we had, but a couple of individual performances, obviously with Brandon Coleman against reps, he just needs to start at this point.
I think it's going to happen this week. They got him listed as a starter, so I
Yeah,
think because he missed preseason, they wanted to bring him in a little bit slow, gave him a little less snaps
yeah,
last week.
most definitely. But overall, man, obviously with Jaden, I think his performance was good. It was okay at certain points and stuff. It's a mixed bag, but it's not a bad mixed bag. You know, he's a rookie. He showed that he could belong, but it's definitely some plays he left out there. And hopefully, you want to see him progressing again in the film and stuff that we always hear in the pre-draft process of him uh, understanding what the throws he needs to make, and hopefully in a game like this or in the coming weeks, he's going to make these throws as the season progresses. But Kayla, what are some things that you like and you dislike during the week 1 game?
Okay, so I'll go with the things I dislike first. One, I didn't like the team's energy. I think we didn't come out ready to like ball out. I feel like it was there at times, but over time after they got a lead, it basically all deflated. Um, Another thing I wasn't happy with is the effort, like lack of effort with tackling, not finishing tackles on defense. Like they were close, especially with Baker. They could have had at least, to me, I counted at least 7 sacks. Just being around the quarterback is not enough. You got to get him down, especially when you got two hands on the quarterback. There's no reason you should have two hands almost wrap him around and he still gets out and throws for a touchdown. It's like that's unacceptable for any level of defense, honestly, to me. And then another thing I didn't like was the usage of the wide receivers. I think Diami could have been involved a little bit more, probably earlier, often, because of the connection he grew with Jaden early in training camp, along with Terry. But there were some throws that Jaden could have made um, that he just didn't. He decided to run. He was more comfortable with running. There were receivers open at times, such as Luke and Terry. But he's a dynamic runner. His first game, he wanted to test his legs out. I do hope there's more of a balance moving forward. And then another thing I didn't like, y'all already touched on it, was the kicker situation. Like I'm praying
Yeah,
that we found a kicker. Can't be leaving points off the board. It's a flow of the game. It's more important than people think it is. And we just can't keep on recycling kickers. I really wish McMahon is worked out, but I really think 'cause everything after him has been trash. But other than that, I think those are small things that can be get fixed. And also the corners. That's the last thing. The corners. We already knew they were bad. At least I knew they weren't the best part of the team. But they got exposed on Sunday. Plain and simple. They all got exposed. Not singling nobody out, all of them, even Sandra still, all of the corners got exposed. Even Chink got exposed at times. I think Quan played solid, not great, but he wasn't like you
yeah,
couldn't tell he was having a terrible game. Um, Percy did okay. He was quiet too, but you can't say he had a terrible game either. But you can tell that the communication has to improve. We've heard that in the past. But I want to see how that action takes on with his coaching staff. If it's bark with the bite.
and I think when you say that, I think even this coaching staff was surprised of how they wasn't all on one accord on Sunday. We've been hearing obviously it's different from playing a actual football game in comparison with the joint practices and practicing against each other. But they were harping on the biggest problem that not only for Ron Rivera, but just throughout the years with any Commanders, Redskins, Washington football team, like it's communication in the secondary has always been bad. And I think it surprised them that they were lacking communication skills on Sunday. And I think that Monday practice, or they had that meeting, they let them know that was unacceptable, and hopefully we can see some improvement and stuff regardless if we don't have the talent or not. At the end of the day, these guys play in the NFL and you have to communicate.
Can't be getting embarrassed, plain and simple.
Yeah, most definitely. So look, we kind of a little bit ran over the time, but we're going ahead and get ready to pull our guests, our week 2 opponent. This is in the NFC East. This is it's an old friend of mine, man. We haven't talked in a while, but the chosen one from the Shakedown Network and the crew. What's going on, bro? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Oh, you might.
And it's that time again. You understand me? It's that time again. For me to walk through, y'all call it Commander Field now, right?
No,
I'll be walking through.
It's Northwest Field.
What is it called?
Northwest.
Wait, one at a time. Say it again.
Northwest,
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know where I'll be stomping at. It's no
North.
problem at all. Y'all know what time it is. When I get down there, I will be arriving exactly at 12:01 p.m. tomorrow at Union Station, right? In case anybody want to just cheer when I arrive, you know how that go. Always got to have the people cheering. But I will be there to make sure that I disrespect that entire building as I always have done since I've been coming to that building. Building has been nothing but good to me. Shout outs to everybody in the red zone and all the Commanders fans who watch me walk away in victory every time I've came. Now y'all can start with the questions because I don't bring no happiness to this situation. It's good to see you, brother. It's been a while. It's good to see you, sis. Kayla, what's up, baby? It's been too long, man. Y'all good?
Yeah,
It's okay. Take your time. That's the last meal you're going to eat in happiness.
Hey, man, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start off with a couple of questions I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the New York Giants, we understand that you guys let go of Saquon Barkley. You guys, he's with the Philadelphia Eagles now. So what Joe Schoen has done, he has used the asset of money to reinvest in the offensive line and sign a couple of players. I know it was week 1, but what were your thoughts on the offensive line as they played Minnesota Vikings? Were some things that they could have done better? Were you impressed? Or you just felt like, Daniel Jones, even though he did have better protection from what it looked like all 22, or how you feel overall about the O-line heading into week 2, I should say.
Okay. Well, I'll rewind. You brought up 3 great points that led to the last question. You first mentioned letting go Saquon Barkley, the biggest disrespect to a Giants fan that could possibly happen. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't know if you guys are familiar with watching the Hard Knocks or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you guys something about what you.
I refuse to watch y'all. I'm sorry.
Well, let me let you know right now, Kayla. Again, the biggest disrespect of all time, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's 2 reasons. One, the Hard Knocks was edited, so you guys didn't get a chance to see the raw and uncut version of what normally we get to see behind the scenes in the NFL, which lets me know you don't want people to actually know what's going on, right? Which is a sucker move by our organization. 2, you don't value the running back position. You let the best offensive player go that helps the second best offensive player be successful. And then on top of that, you made it seem like you couldn't pay him, but you gave $85 million guaranteed to an edge rusher, which he got over 100 and something million, and the top of the second round picks when you had 2 of them, which made you have to wait for damn near an hour to get another pick in the second round while all the good cornerbacks flew off the board. So you forgot to address CB2, right? Now you go out in free agency and you pay some money for a line, something that we've been clamoring for 14 years damn near, right? Since Eli Manning won the 211 Super Bowl and then some, right? Now you go out and you actually make improvements on the line, which says something, right? You have to also admit we have a bust that we chose at number 7 in 3 years ago in Evan Neal. See? Now it's called masking problems. The deuteronomy to that, right, is now that you don't have the greatest offensive weapon that you've had for the last 6 years, and you're going to march a guy out you paid $40 million, and quote unquote, we did not pay a guy $40 million to hand the ball off. Right? So, guess what? Moving forward, week 1, the New York Giants offensive line did something they have never done in the last 12 years. After week 1, they finished 10th in the NFL, which lets me know what? You paid the wrong guy. And you let the wrong guy go. And now we got to face that guy 2 times a year. That's what we did. Is that politically correct enough? Because I really didn't want to say that.
You're right on the noggin, man. I mean, I've always been the type of person where, like, I understand, you know, with when it comes to like talk about quarterbacks and stuff. And to me, with Daniel Jones, like, I understand. Yes, he has beaten us. We will put that out there. He has beaten the Washington Commanders, Washington franchise multiple times. But in terms of just looking at his play, when you look at the thing, when you're trying to put all those weapons around him and you're trying to get him to do something that he hasn't even done in college, and that's pushing the ball consistently, playing on timing, and things of that nature. And you're trying to do that, and you're just trying to put a peg into something that's not going to fit. Where I felt with Saquon, he is your identity. He is the one that makes the offense tick. And then when you see that clip from Hard Knocks, like, what's going to be your identity? That is a huge question that every NFL franchise will ask their GM, their coaches, when it's talking about player evaluation. What is going to be our identity? Sometimes you have to figure that out during the season whatsoever. But with New York, the one person that we always talk about and identify with the New York Giants was Saquon Barkley.
And then you saying that, right? It's very, very profound, because not only if you are missing an identity, you also have a missing identity against defensive coordinators. Who do they game plan for? Who do they come after? Who can wreck a game for us now when it comes to the New York Football Giants? We're going to hang our hats on a dynamic rookie who's never seen the speed of an NFL game, a division rival, or a cornerback who actually knows the nuances of the game to get away with hand fighting at the line of scrimmage, pinning and pulling and using the boundaries against them as an adult. Because remember, you're still a kid. Regardless of how good or dynamic you may be, you're coming into the game with hungry grown men who are actually trying to prolong their careers at the cornerback position, right? So they still have the little nuances, as I mentioned, that they get away with, that you're going to have to fight through, that you're going to have to learn. Then on top of that, you have a quarterback who has a rookie wide receiver. You haven't had enough time coming off injury for reps. So the timing is not there for you guys. The balance is not there. You may not know he likes the ball in this position or over there, or if I throw it into this is his catch radius. All that takes time. We also made a mistake by not allowing Daniel Jones to play in the last preseason game. He's coming off an ACL injury. And I know these injuries are something that you come back from a little earlier with the prehab situation now and then the rehab. But that does not stop live bullets. We looked like a preseason team playing against a regular season team last week.
Okay, so Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I will say I don't disagree with none of what you said, good brother. First of all, I hope you're having a great week. Hope you don't have a good Sunday, but I hope you've had a great week, my brother. I just want to
So
say
is
that.
that the way to say what you just said
No,
in that manner? No, that's the way to say that. I hope you had a great week,
no.
but
I
I
hope
don't
you had a
hope you
great
have a
week,
good Sunday.
but
All right.
hell no, I don't hope you don't have a good Sunday.
Okay.
Of course I don't, but you know why.
Okay. Yeah,
But
yeah, I do know why.
but
Right.
but talking X and O's,
Mhm.
and
Right.
besides the divisional aspect of it, I'm just looking at it from a football mindset. I truly don't understand why certain teams don't play blue chip players or
Right.
cornerstone players.
Okay.
Saquon, of course, is that. Regardless if you value the running back position or not, he for you for the Giants, that when you first think of the New York Football Giants, you think of Saquon Barkley,
Yes, you do.
Dexter Lawrence,
Right.
elite defensive tackle, cornerstone player, blue chip player,
Well,
Xavier McKinney. To me, really good player, one of the best coverage safeties in the NFL. Y'all didn't pay him either, and the same example you made for Malik Neighbors of a rookie trying to fill in that absence of being a weapon for offense.
Right.
It's the same thing with Tyler Nubin, even though I like him as a prospect as well, as a safety, a ball hawking safety. Forgot what college he played for, DT. I know we talked about
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Ball hawking free safety. But now he has to take over Xavier McKinney's responsibilities of knowing where he has to be, knowing if he has to go man on man, he got to know leverage or certain receivers. Um, he has to fill in that gap too. I was really surprised y'all didn't pay him because he was your second best defender, second best, third best. Deontay Banks had a really good season too. Um, I just don't understand that aspect of y'all played Dexter, of course, but y'all
Right.
didn't play Xavier McKinney or Saquon. So I'm like, okay, they relying on rookies. Now your players are leaving, and now you're drafting for need now rather than drafting for a BPA. Granted,
Right.
that's what we kind of did in our draft. Granted, I wanted an offensive lineman in the second, but we got the best player available. Johnny Newton was the second best defensive tackle in that draft. So, oh yeah, let's pick him
Absolutely.
up. Let's not draft for need because sometimes that's how you screw yourself over. You need a left tackle, so you're going to reach and get a guy rather than getting a guy who's an impact player for your team. So that's
Right.
kind of what we did. We drafted for a BPA. This is the best guy available. We looked at different aspects of what he brings to the table. So okay, he can fit into this system. Let's bring him in.
Gotcha.
So for the Giants, for Joe Shane, either yeah, I don't know if y'all have a losing season this year. Somebody going pay the price, whether it be your head coach, who I don't think Brian Daboll is a bad coach. Granted, he's in a. I think the situation he's in is very weird. Can he be better? For sure, but I don't think he's terrible as a head coach. Joe Shane, on the other hand, he got if things don't go right, he got some explaining to do, and I don't
Okay.
know how y'all. Same thing. Same reason we focus on each other's front office positions. You know, Howie Roseman, Jerry Jones. We know how they
Right.
are and who the type
Hmm.
of people they are. We know sometimes, and especially with us, with Dan Snyder, but he's gone. We don't got to worry about that. This is a new regime, new ownership. We're gonna see what they're gonna do, and I think anybody is better than Snyder, for real. So, but with the Giants, we know sometimes y'all go through a lot of head coaches. Same way that we used to do. We gone through a lot of head coaches too. Y'all had Ben McAdoo, y'all had Pat Shermer, y'all had who's that
Joe
guy?
Judge.
Joe Judge, terrible head coach, dumb head coach. Y'all had a bunch of head coaches in flux too, like just rotating around. So
Right.
I don't.
So
Yeah.
I'll address what you said, and then I'll, of
Uh,
course, take a question from the great Miss Powell.
uh,
Um, when you said pieces that we had as cornerstones, right? I like to use that word.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
We had an offensive cornerstone, right? Saquon Barkley, a
Mm-hmm.
defensive cornerstone,
Mm-hmm.
Dexter Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
also an offensive cornerstone on the offensive line in Andrew Thomas,
I agree.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you have that as a regime,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm only going to talk us division rivals, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What has been the cornerstone of every team if they made it to the playoffs with us in a division? Let's talk about it.
Quarterback.
Left tackle,
Left tackle.
defensive tackle,
Defensive tackle.
running back.
Uh-huh.
The quarterbacks have fluctuated besides Dak Prescott in the last 10 years for the Commanders, Eagles, and the Giants, right?
Okay.
But what have they always had?
They've always had a line, and they've always, I get what you're saying.
You get
I
where
don't
I'm
disagree
going?
with that.
So my question as a new regime,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why they're so untrustworthy to me, what have you not recognized about our division? Because when a new regime comes in, they don't think about the other teams that they have to play. The first thing they think about is the division that they have to face.
Of
And
course,
what is the common denominator in this division? When we look at the Commanders, we can move the quarterback position out of the way, right? Just like the Giants. Regardless of this guy being here 6 years, the quarterback position has still been void. You can have it, like when you create a player in Madden, we've still been trying to create Daniel Jones. So cornerstones, right? Let's start with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Defensive line, offensive line, plethora of running backs that have been successful. And you know what makes a running back successful? When you can leave a team and get a second contract elsewhere, right? Okay. Defensive line, right? Commanders, offensive line. You guys were named the Hogs. It's an actual thing where everybody else was like, yo, we got to get some Hogs, right? That's the thing.
And not to cut you off, but even after the Hogs, which I remind my fan base all the time, 2015, 2016, even a little bit of 2017, he had a very good offensive line.
That's what I'm saying. Trent Williams, Brent Sheriff, come on, man.
Yeah,
right.
So
and look at the running backs that were successful behind those lines.
Yep. Chris
right?
Thompson,
Chris Thompson. Come on, look at the guys that were. Look at the guys that are successful behind those lines, right?
Trust me, I know.
Even though the quarterbacks may have not panned out, they had time, right? Which allowed them to show flashes, right? Okay, so here we go. Look at what our division entails. Stout at the line, running the ball, which is time clock management and control, right? And defense. So let's talk about the New York Football Giants. Voided running game, nepotism. You brought a guy in that used to play for you 2-3 years ago, right? In Buffalo, because you don't value the running game. You let the actual running back go to get a question mark who's what? The worst running back out of the 3 teams. Saquon Barkley was possibly the best running back out of all 4 teams in the division, right? If you want to look at it.
He was
now you drop from 1 to 4. You just gave all defensive lines an advantage, all defensive coordinators an advantage, right? So this is why I don't trust the regime, because they didn't draft to make the team better against the division. They drafted because they wanted to make themselves look like they knew what they were doing and the smartest man in the room, which turned out to be the dumbest. You paid Brian Burns and guaranteed him $85 million, over 100 and something million, and also gave up your top of the 2nd round pick. And he exactly produced his first game, the number he wears.
And then
0.
And then not only that, there was a article saying y'all was going to pay Josh Jacobs a lot of money too.
Absolutely. Look what happened. He took one look at the regime and went to play for Green Bay. That's a statement right there. That means that we can't keep guys in the building. That's also a red flag to me.
Yeah.
Good regimes don't let guys walk out the building. Isn't that a reason why you guys hated Schneider? Nobody wanted to come to Washington.
And another reason why I wanted Sam Cosmi to get paid, even though we gonna talk about the X's and O's later, good brother. Sam Cosmi had a really good year this past year. Even though
Yeah,
the offense was bad, defense was bad, we were just bad coaching, bad everything. Nothing, no cohesiveness at all.
right.
It was just another. It was just whatever throwaway season. He was really good. Granted, people value PFF or not. PFF graded him as a top 10 guard, top 7 guard.
Right.
Very good in run blocking. I want him to get better as a pass blocker, but he showed good enough consistency to be a pretty solid pass blocker. We
Absolutely.
paid him. We paid him before the season started. Paid him. Love that from my GM and my front office. Players that deserve to get paid need to get paid. Brandon Sheriff, we offered him the most money in NFL history to stay with us, and he said no. He walked away. Cool. I don't hate that. We offered you the most money. He walked away. Some players in the past, they walked away from us. We paid him $18 million a year. Granted, I think he should get paid maybe a little bit more, but some people feel like he's a little underpaid for what he brings to the table for us. He's our best offensive lineman, but he deserved that contract, and we paid him. Same thing with, I believe this is going to be the same thing with everybody, with any player that we have. Adam Peters, he's not going to let anything fly, which I do love. There was a report that he was very livid after week 1. John Allen was the first one on the bus. He was livid. Lake Lewis, I think DT said that. He was he was pissed off. You can't be, he's a top 2 player. He's the second best player, if not the best player on our team. Terry, John Allen, you pick whoever you feel like is the best football player. He's a leader. He's grew up watching the team. He got drafted as a Redskin, part of the WFT, Washington Football Team, part of the Commanders. He's been through all 3 teams, team different names. He's been through all that. You can't be all loud pregame, postgame. Where you at? You complaining? You first one on the bus. You got to take ownership too, good brother.
Yeah.
You got to take ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So Adam Peters this year, I wouldn't. Depending on the trade deadline, how our record is, I wouldn't be surprised if we move players. The trade deadline, of course, as fans, we want to see our team be buyers. Of course, you want that. You want to.
Okay.
We're gonna make this trade. We're gonna bring it. A big name. We got a big name in the building. Let's get it. I wouldn't be, and this is just me. I'm just talking. I'm just being real. I wouldn't be surprised if we're sellers at the deadline more than buyers. Granted, we have a lot of holes on this roster, and we have to continue to build. We have a first, a second, 2 thirds this year. This coming up year for the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if we get more picks. That's why we traded Jahan. We traded Jahan. Adam Peters said, look, he may not be playing the slot. We already got somebody for that. Luke McCaffrey. That's why I drafted him for. We traded him into our own division. So that shows you, 1, he's not moved by him. He doesn't fear Jahan as a player. And 2, Jahan's not going to be the top 3 or top 4 option on that team anyway. The Eagles got more offensive options before Jahan anyway, so he may not even get that much burn. But we need as much draft picks as we need. Because Ron Rivera F this team up.
Right. We're talking Dave Gettleman-ish type of shit. You feel what I'm saying? That's what Joe Kane was brought in for. Because if you guys can remember or not, we were shopping with an EBT card 2 years ago. You feel me? And he had to fix the financial situation over here first before he can actually go into his bread and butter, which is scouting. You feel me?
Yeah, and not to cut you off, and somebody else can chime in. But that's, my mama said hate is a strong word. And I despise Ron Rivera for what he did. But one positive thing he did was not have us in money hell, cap hell.
Right. Right.
Because next year we will have over 100 million cap space. This year we
Right.
had the most. Granted, we spent our money very smart. We didn't
You
get
and I'm gonna tell you one of the smartest things that the Commanders have done in the last 8 to 9 years, right?
Mhm.
You do not hold on to wasted talent. If y'all feel that the quarterback is not Himothy, he's gone. Y'all have not paid one guy big money after y'all let Kirk Cousins go. Not
And
one.
let me add to that, DT. You can time in, good brother. I didn't talk too much. I know you've been away, but that's why one thing that I really love is the small things. Cole Turner, Ridgeway, Ricky Stromberg, Sam Howell, Jahan Dotson. You know, as much as you've been a fan of the Giants, as much as you've seen everything throughout the division, and I've said this on social media, I've said this on the podcast. One thing that we have always done in the Snyder era, we keep players for too long and don't get enough value for them. Trent Williams is one of them. Kirk Cousins is one of them. Brandon Sheriff, I wouldn't say he's one of them. But those two guys, we kept them for so long, we didn't get enough trade value for them. The one thing I love what Adam Peters did is, okay, these guys not going to work. Even if I'm not going to get anything, let me see what I can get. Exhaust every avenue as a GM. Ricky Stromberg wasn't worth nothing. Tim Ridgeway, we got a pick for him. Jahan Dotson, we got a 3rd round pick for him. Sam Howell, we moved up from the 4th to the 3rd. We used him to move up from the 4th to the 3rd. So we got 3 thirds. And then we used one of those thirds to have 3 seconds in the draft. He's trying
See,
to.
and I'm not cutting you off, but
Yeah.
you know, these are the things that makes a regime who they are. Now, there's a question that always floats around, DT and Caleb, right? I don't know where Kayla went, but
She coming
for
back.
her as well. Okay. There's something that always floats around, right? And it's called building. We always look at that word, right? Now, there's 3 levels of building to me when I look at a team, right? Your current state, your futuristic thought process, and the pattern that it takes to get there. Let's look at patterns. The Dallas Cowboys have a pattern. We are going to make sure that offensive line is intact so that we can draft a running back and bring a quarterback in here to develop him, right? That's their way. They went from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott, and who was there before Romo?
Who they had? Bledsoe?
This is what I'm trying to say. But then Bledsoe was there in an older age, right?
Yeah.
And then before Bledsoe, Troy Aikman. What did Troy Aikman have? He had a running game.
He had
an offensive line. He had a wide receiver. What did Tony Romo have?
O-line.
He had a running game. He had an offensive line. He had wide receivers. When he got hurt, guess what was still intact for the Dallas Cowboys?
The O-line.
They had a whole line, a running game, and a wide receivers.
And the funny thing is, we've actually, I wouldn't say as much as consistent history as that, but even before Trent, we had Chris Samuels.
Chris Samuels, come on.
Now a lot of people don't know about him. We had Chris Samuels before Trent.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look at everybody's way of thinking for building. Remember, I said the 3 things that allow me to believe what you are as a regime: your current state, your futuristic thought process and forecasting, and the steps that it takes to get there. Right?
And that's why I agree. Yep. Go ahead.
The New York Football Giants has not shown consistency in either 3 of those steps. And that's why there's always a breakdown in one of those areas. You cannot build a football team without having some type of identity first, and then you become the character that you need to play in the role. You cannot play roles unless you get the proper characters to do their jobs. And if the acting is poor, you no longer want to watch this film. You don't make it to the credits. A good movie makes it to the credits because you want to find out who the actors were. I don't even want to find out who the actors were on Sunday.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree.
Caleb likes that breakdown. You see that he was feeling that, right?
It was good. This is elite
I'm
conversation. Right
I'm magnificent, Caleb.
But-
That's who I am.
but
I'm magnificent.
but that's one thing that I do. It's the little things that matter to
Right.
me when it comes to a GM. Because even with Bruce Allen, he had a chance to trade Kirk Cousins to the Niners. We could have got a top.
Come on now.
We didn't.
Now
do
you
it.
talking. Now we talking.
Trent Williams, and I literally tweeted years ago, 5 years ago, when Trent didn't want to be here. He was done. It was 2019, 2018. I said, trade him. Just trade him. Trade him. If he's so distraught about what happened to him physically, in his mental state, his health wise with the tumor, because he could have it could have been really serious. If you didn't get a second opinion, trade him. You could have got 2 first-round picks for this guy. He was the second, if not the best left tackle in the league in his prime, and he's still great. He
just got an extension for more money with the 49ers.
He's still the best in my opinion.
He got an extension.
But the fact that even though these players aren't worth anything, Adam Peters is calling out saying, "Hey, what can we get for this guy? Can I get a 5th, a 6th? You're doing your due diligence. Even though if you don't get anything, at least you exhausted every avenue. You be flexible, be creative. Use a 4th. I give you a 4th or a 5th in Jahan Dotson. Give me a 3rd. Okay, cool.
Right.
Philly, Philly. Yeah, we'll do that. We're trying to get as much good players as we can to build this up, and let's make an elite run to the Super Bowl. That's what they like to do every year.
Right.
And then they get good draft picks too. They find some odd way.
I was about to say Philly has their way of doing things for the last 8 to 9 years, and I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, but you said something, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have great scouting in their GM department and their scouts. Think about it. Philly has not missed a beat besides quarterback here or there in how long? Think about it. They always got somebody on the defensive side of the ball. They always got 2 or 3 players on the offensive side of the ball. They know how to grow out and grab cornerbacks from free agency, but most of all, they have the thing that you want every franchise to have. And do you gentlemen know what that is? People want to play for that organization.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It pisses me off. But people do not leave Philadelphia. They don't leave Lincoln Financial once they walk up in there.
For one,
I'm gonna take a couple of more questions from you guys, and I gotta actually get on the road. But before I say what I gotta say, will I be seeing both of you gentlemen on Sunday?
I'm in Georgia, good brother. I gotta work with both my new job. I gotta work.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make it, man.
Yeah,
It's okay. I just wanted some people to talk my shit to, but it's all right. It'll be another 45,000 of y'all in that building.
So let me ask you this before you head out. What are some X factors for you for this game? What are some matchups you're going to be looking at?
That's the easiest question in the world, Caleb. I'm not looking at no matchups. I'm not looking at none of it. I'm gonna tell you what I'm looking for. No, you probably never ever thought you would hear me say what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I'm not looking for no matchups. You know what I'm looking for?
A win?
No.
What?
I'm looking for Brian Dable.
Okay.
What he did last week by taking over the play calling and being our offensive coordinator and head coach at the same time has allowed me to side-eye him after I watched all 22 film for 3 hours. You guys know how I get down with the film. I am a film watching X and O's fanatic. I took that film, I get emotionally disturbed when I
It's a
think
safe,
about it.
it's a safe space, good brother.
Yo, I watched that film, and for everything I wanted to blame on Daniel Jones, I had to blame on Brian Davis.
Okay.
I said, wait a minute. He ran a quarterback bootleg design run. Yeah, y'all heard me say it. I'm going to say it one more time. He ran a quarterback bootleg designed run on 3rd and 3. This man is coming off a torn ACL, 2 neck injuries, and you ran him into the teeth of the defense with not one blocker on that side that he bootlegged to. Y'all hear that in my background? That's the police. When you run those type of plays, your ass should go straight to the penitentiary.
Oh man, yeah.
Yo, I'm telling you guys, man, as much as I want to be confident, as much as I want to be proud, and you guys know, man, I am one of those Giant fans that I am not biased. I am going to be fair. I'm going to be proud. I love my team. You guys know that. I bring energy for my team. But Caleb, DT, and Kayla, this is the first time, man. I'm just coming to Northwestville to just enjoy myself and look at my head coach and say, this motherfucker is not who I thought he was.
And I'm going to say this too. And DT, this is why I said, for me, not only for me, just for the team, the fans, you got to beat the Giants. And one of the reasons why it's this, right? Love you, E. Good brother, good man. I know your father too, great father too as well. Just want to
Thank you, brother.
When you DT, listen, don't focus on E real quick. This is why. He leaning in the camera so you make sure you hear it.
Yeah, I need to hear this shit. You understand?
But listen,
I need to hear this shit right here. Because I need to hear what you got to say, fam.
Yeah. DT, remember, for example, remember we played the Bears last year and their head coach was on the thin line of getting fired and keeping their job?
Yeah, I do remember that.
These are one of these games where you gotta put a statement. Not only, well, it helps the fans too, but even to the division. Look, we didn't have a divisional win last year. It's time to at least get our first divisional win against the Giants. If we beat the Giants, then the Giants fans know, we lost to the Commanders. We always beat the Commanders, but we lost to them, especially early in the season. Then they'll know, we suck. We suck. Same reason why when they beat us, it's like, damn, we always lose. We suck. Even though as fans, we still root for the team. But we beat them. If we beat them, those fans will be like, damn, we lost to the Commanders. And then that sparks the rivalry again. That sparks the rivalry. Us losing to them all the time, they don't give a damn about us. Cowboys don't care about no rivalry with the Commanders. Eagles fans don't care about that. Even though we beat them undefeated, then we started, going back and forth.
I apologize, bro. Somebody called in. You know how that go.
Yeah, you're good.
So I'll take one more question real quick. The reason why I got to run out of here so fast because I actually got to make it down to what we call our Port Authority so I can make it to what you call your Union Station.
To sum it up real quick, E, I said I want us to beat the Giants so we can spark that rivalry again. The hatred needs to come back.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I'm a older. I don't look it, but I'm a lot older than I look. I never had a hatred for
Yeah.
And I still don't call you guys the Commanders because I
The
slip up,
Redskins. Yeah.
right?
I know.
I never had a hatred.
You see my shirt, good brother. You see it.
Right.
You see it.
And it was a question that I was going to ask, but I ran out of time.
Yeah.
I never really had a hatred for you guys.
Mhm.
The rivalry has always been bittersweet because as much as I want to talk shit, it's never been like a like it's just never had that to it.
Yeah.
Philly has
Yeah.
that to it.
Dallas
You know what I'm
for
saying?
us, you got that. Yeah.
Right. Right. And it's always going to be that way for me because one, we are the oldest rivalries in our division. We played the most games against each other. We have the longest history, right?
Yep.
Geez, man, like I still watch clips of LT and the Theismann hit, and I'm like, oh, I remember I was a kid when I saw that, and then I watched Doug Williams raise his arm in Super Bowl victory, and and I'm looking at guys like Art Monk and so I'm a historian with watching you guys play, and I just still never had that hatred. You know what I mean? Your mom taught you well when she said that's a real word, but I'm damn sure going to use it for the Eagles. Okay? I hate the motherfucking Eagles. We ain't going to stop that. You know what I'm saying? But real quick, man, let me tell you guys something before I get out of here. Thank you so much for inviting me, allowing me to come on, man, and be the guy that I always have been with you gentlemen. First of all, I see you guys. Don't think you're not noticed. Keep doing your thing. I will always be here to support if you need me. And outside of that, I'm here, man. You know what I'm saying? Blessings to you guys. I will see you on Sunday. I do believe we're still going to kick that ass, but you know how it is.
We gonna stomp y'all on Sunday.
Let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something.
I don't want to hear nothing about that, E. We gonna stomp y'all, E.
You know what, Deuce? I'm not going to argue back. I'm just going to send you my video on loop that I filmed 2 years ago. I'm going to send that video on loop. And you come see me after you see that. Because I will be in the building on Sunday. And you already know I love you, good brother. And
I told
you guys again, man.
E, I told
Thank you for putting up with me.
I told you I ain't know that was you 2 rows in front of me, E, until after
I
the
know.
fact. Remember,
I know.
told you that.
I know, brother, and I'm happy you didn't know, because I at least wouldn't have known where that Pepsi came from or whatever the case would have been. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good, man. Yo, thanks again for everything, brothers. Y'all have a wonderful night, man. Everybody knows Jesus is Lord. Blessings to everybody's family, and I will see you guys Sunday, man. Good luck on the game.
Be safe. Yes, sir.
You know it, brother. Thank you.
Bro. Most
You got it.
definitely.
All right.
Well, that was a pretty good interview by one of our good brothers, E.
That was a great conversation.
Yeah, well, definitely a great conversation. So let's go ahead and try to end the show off with what's going to be our final score prediction. So I'm going to go first. To me, I have the Washington Commanders winning 24-10.
Oh. Okay. I got us winning too.
We got it.
That ain't no prediction.
Dude, but
that ain't no
prediction.
Win, where the score at?
Hold on.
Where the score at?
Hold on. I got us winning.
You see this pork chop? I mean, pork chops while I'm driving. We up. I'm confident. I'm confident. I got pork chops while I'm driving.
I'm going to say this. 24-14. 24-14. We beat them.
I got 23-17.
Home opener. It's going to be sold out, by the way.
I don't know, man. I ain't looking like it.
You don't think so?
I posted not too long ago. It's a rack of seats left. Which is interesting.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I'm not going to have to look at that tweet, but
and the ticket's not expensive either. I saw what you posted, dude. The ticket's not expensive, but
you ain't coming.
Hey, man,
you ain't coming.
Hey, look, I
DT,
try.
DT, let me loose. Cut me loose, DT.
You
Cut me
will.
loose.
24-14. Good guys win. We finally get that monkey off our back. First division win. Gives the team confidence. Gets the fan base. And Deuce, you know I be pessimistic. You know I do. So when you hear me say, look, bro, it's time, bro. Like I even you know my boy Mark too. You saw him at the he called me today. He said, look, bro, we gotta win.
Bro, all my logic is out the window when I face the blue people. You know, we got to beat them, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta beat them, bro.
We have to, bro. We have to.
We got to.
We have to, bro.
We got to, bro.
We got to.
These niggas, bro. I'm tired.
We got
to. Oh
man.
My God. I'm tired, bro. But listen, whatever happens, I'm gonna be there Monday morning. I know, dude. You probably go. I know Glenn gonna host regardless. He gonna face the Bullets. But if we win, hey man. Now, granted, there's still holes on the roster, still ways we gotta improve, but that's a positive step for a rebuilding team, for a new regime. That's what you gotta do.
Fan base.
Yep.
Fan base. Yep.
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get this dub Sunday. But that's all we got for y'all on a Good Friday. Talking Washington Commanders football and with week 2 opponent with the New York Giants. We will see you guys next week as we hopefully come away. No, matter of fact, forget hopefully. We're coming away with the dub next week. And we're going to get ready to talk about more football with Washington Commanders. This is your boy DT with a surprise appearance by Deuce with Caleb and Kayla and E, the chosen one of the New York Giants fan base. This is the Command Time Podcast presented by the Fan Force Sports Network on YouTube Live. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.
Got me feeling so free.